Everyone wants to be seen, to be noticed, to be praised. But the truth is, real growth doesn't happen under the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, in the quiet hours, when no one's watching and no one's clapping. Imagine this. It's late. The city sleeps. Your room is dim. Your screen still glowing. Everyone else has stopped. But you're still here. Grinding, building, becoming. There's no applause, no likes, no audience. And yet something powerful is forming. A version of you that no one has met yet. The world tells you to share everything, to prove, to announce, to perform. But silence is your secret weapon. Because while they're busy talking, you're busy transforming. While they're seeking validation, you're building results. And when the time is right, you won't need to say a word. Your work will speak for you. This isn't about hiding. It's about honing. It's about learning to focus inward, to grow quietly, to build strength in solitude. So stop chasing noise. Stop explaining. Start executing. This audiobook is your blueprint for silent success. To master the calm grind. To work deeply, patiently, without applause, until your results become impossible to ignore. Take a breath, because from this moment on, your silence will be your strength, and your focus your superpower. The world never stops talking. Everyone has something to say. Everyone wants to be heard, but very few want to listen. And even fewer are willing to act in silence. We live in a time where noise equals importance. If you post it, it matters. If you say it loud enough, it's real. But here's the truth. The loudest voices rarely build the strongest results. Real power grows quietly, like roots beneath the ground, invisible, steady, unshakable. When you stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it, you instantly separate yourself from most people. Because most people are addicted to the illusion of progress. They love to announce their goals. They love to say, "I'm going to start." But the moment they say it, their brain releases a small hit of satisfaction, as if they've already achieved something. And that false reward kills the real hunger to act. If you want to build power, you must learn to hold your silence. Keep your plan close. Let your actions carry the weight. Talk less about what you'll do, and do more of what matters. This isn't secrecy. It's strategy. Because silence is not weakness, it's containment. It keeps your energy from leaking into meaningless words. It keeps your focus intact. It keeps your power inside, growing quietly, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Think of a lion before the hunt. It doesn't roar before it attacks. It moves silently, eyes locked, body still, breath calm, every ounce of focus directed toward one goal. When it moves, it doesn't miss. That's the essence of silent strength. No performance, no announcement, just precision and execution. Now compare that to the modern world. People announce every goal before it even begins. They talk about their plans more than they work on them. They chase validation instead of victory. But when you learn the law of silence, you free yourself from that trap. You no longer need applause. You no longer need permission. You no longer need to prove anything. You just build. The law of silence is simple. Work quietly. Deliver loudly. Let your results make the noise. Let your discipline speak louder than your declarations. Because when you execute consistently, you become unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you're powerful. No one can interfere with what they can't see. No one can criticize what they don't know. No one can stop a plan that's invisible until it's done. Your silence becomes your shield. Your work becomes your weapon. There's a reason why the most respected people in every field don't need to talk much. They don't need to explain. They don't need to argue. Their actions have already spoken for them. When you reach that level, you won't have to convince anyone of your worth. Your consistency will say it for you. You'll notice that people who constantly need to talk about success rarely achieve it. And those who quietly grind, they're the ones who always rise. Because noise is temporary, but results are permanent. To apply the law of silence in your own life, start small. Here's your framework. Step 1. Stop announcing. Every time you feel the urge to tell someone about your new plan, pause. Ask yourself, do I want to impress them or progress myself? If the answer is impress, stay quiet. If it's progress, take action immediately. Step 2. Protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. The more people know your plans, the more opinions you'll hear. And opinions create friction. Protect your goals like you would protect a fire in the wind. Keep them guarded until they burn bright enough to stand on their own. Step 3. Shift your focus. Measure your days by effort, not attention. At the end of each day, ask, what did I build today that no one saw? Because that's where your real progress lives, in the unseen work. Step 4. Let results speak. When success arrives, it doesn't need an announcement. People will see it. They'll feel it. They'll wonder where it came from. And you'll smile because you'll know it came from silence. Silence also gives you clarity. When you stop talking, you start hearing your own thoughts again. You start understanding what truly matters to you, not what the world expects. Noise keeps you reactive. Silence makes you intentional. Noise scatters your focus. Silence sharpens it. Noise feeds the ego. Silence strengthens the soul. When you master silence, you stop being controlled by distraction. You become centered, calm, deliberate. Every action you take has meaning. Every step you make has weight. Here's a truth most people never realize. Focus is expensive. Every time you explain, defend, or justify your goals, you pay for it with your energy. You lose momentum. You give away your mental sharpness. Silence is how you save it. Silence is how you store power. So build your projects in quiet. Train your skills when no one is watching. Improve yourself without broadcasting it. And when you emerge, you'll be untouchable because no one saw the preparation. There's beauty in being underestimated. When people don't expect much, you're free to surprise them. You're free to move without resistance. You're free to win quietly and let your victories echo later. The ones who shout loudest early often fall first because they burn energy on exposure, not execution. But you'll do it differently. You'll speak through progress. You'll lead through proof. You'll let your silence build your power until your results roar louder than any words ever could. When you learn to work in silence, you stop chasing validation. You start chasing growth. You stop needing to be seen. You start needing to become. And that's when everything changes. Because once you no longer crave attention, you gain complete control over your direction. You stop performing for the world. You start building your world. And every quiet day you commit to your craft becomes another brick in the foundation of something unstoppable. So remember, don't talk. Do. Don't promise. Produce. Don't seek approval. Seek mastery. Your silence is not emptiness. It's preparation. It's patience. It's power. And when the time comes when your results finally rise, you won't need to speak. The world will speak for you. Everyone wants to look strong. But true strength isn't loud. It's silent. It's the kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself. When you can master your emotions, you become the calm in the chaos. You stop being a puppet to other people's reactions. You stop being addicted to approval. You stop performing for the world. This chapter is about building that stillness inside you, the quiet power that replaces ego with awareness and noise with focus. The hidden addiction. Let's be honest. We live in a dopamine economy. Every ping, like, and notification is designed to make you feel seen for a second. You post. You wait. Your brain starts checking for validation. Every like feels like proof that you exist. But what happens when no one reacts? What happens when the world goes quiet? Most people panic. They question their worth. They chase the next post, the next small hit of digital applause. That's not confidence. That's dependency. You're not chasing growth. You're chasing recognition. And every time you do, you give away a piece of your power. The art of emotional ownership. You cannot build silent success if your emotions belong to other people. You must reclaim them. And to do that, you need a mirror, not a microphone. Here's your mirror, the 3 self-questions. Ask them whenever you feel reactive, judged, or restless. 1. Who am I doing this for? Be honest. Is your action fueled by purpose or by ego? Are you building something meaningful? Or are you just trying to look meaningful too? Who really cares most of the time? No one. People scroll. They forget. Their attention moves on in seconds. So why give your piece to an audience that isn't even watching? 3. What result do I actually want? A reaction or real progress? Do you want applause or mastery? These 3 questions strip away illusion. They remind you that real power comes from clarity, not attention. The ego trap. Your ego wants attention. Your purpose wants progress. One of them will win. The ego thrives on being seen. It wants to be liked, followed, validated. It wants to feel important. But purpose doesn't care about being seen. Purpose only cares about becoming. You can't serve both, because every minute spent proving yourself is a minute stolen from improving yourself. Ego wants to post. Purpose wants to practice. Ego wants to talk. Purpose wants to build. Ego chases praise. Purpose chasse progress. The moment you choose purpose, your mind becomes still, your work becomes deeper, and your success becomes inevitable. The power of emotional neutrality. People who can't control emotion can't control direction. Emotional neutrality doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you decide what deserves your energy. Someone doubts you, you don't argue, you improve. Someone misunderstands you, you don't defend, you deliver. Someone criticizes your silence. You smile because you know silence is your shield. You no longer let other people's noise rewrite your internal peace. This is mastery. Not control over others, but control over yourself. The 24-hour reset challenge. If you want to break the like addiction, you must starve it. 1 day is all it takes to reset your focus. For the next 24 hours, post nothing. Comment nothing. Explain nothing. Just do the work. Use that silence as your lab. 2 hours of deep work, no phone, no audience, no dopamine rush. Just pure creation. At first, it feels strange. Your mind will itch for attention. You'll feel invisible. But that's the test. Because real confidence is not built by being seen, it's built by being self-sustained. When you complete this challenge, you'll notice something subtle but powerful clarity. Your thoughts will feel lighter, your focus sharper. You'll realize how much of your energy was being wasted on validation that never mattered. The deep work reward, silence, rewards those who respect it. In deep work, you meet the version of yourself that no one else gets to see. The world may not know your effort, but your results will show it. That's what builds self-trust, the quiet knowing that you can depend on yourself without needing approval from anyone. That's what separates amateurs from masters. Amateurs seek to be seen. Masters seek to be better. When you enter deep work, you leave behind the surface world, the world of scrolling, noise, and comparison. You enter the real world, the one where progress is built, minute by minute, in silence. The calm revolution. The calm mind wins the long game. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, you gain strength. Every time you choose patience over attention, you gain control. And every time you choose silence over ego, you gain freedom. Your focus becomes sharper. Your energy lasts longer. Your work deepens, and your life finally moves with peace. You stop chasing recognition. You start creating meaning. That is the quiet revolution. That is the birth of still power. In summary, your emotions are your engine. Control them, or they'll control you. Approval is a drug. Replace it with progress. Ask the 3 questions daily. Who am I doing this for? Who really cares? What result do I want? 24 hours, challenge 0 posts. 2 hours deep work. Success isn't visible first, it's internal. Your next step begins in silence. Because when the noise fades, you'll finally hear your own voice, the one that's been waiting all along. And that voice will lead you not to attention, but to excellence. Motivation is a spark. It burns bright and dies fast. You felt it before. That rush of excitement when you decide to change. You make the plan. You feel unstoppable for a few hours, or maybe a few days. Then life hits. You feel tired. The spark fades, and your old habits return. That's not weakness. That's human nature. The truth is, you don't need more motivation. You need a system. Because discipline is not about intensity. It's about consistency. The D-U-O framework: define, unclutter, operate. This is how you build a life that keeps moving forward even when you don't feel like it. Let's break it down. 1. Define what truly matters. Most people fail because they never define why they're doing what they do. They confuse motion with meaning. They stay busy, but they're not moving anywhere. Before you start building discipline, ask yourself, what is the single outcome that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? That's your North Star. Write it down. Circle it. Everything else must orbit around it. Then, define your minimum standard. Not your dream version, your baseline. Because discipline doesn't start at the top. It starts with what you can sustain on your worst day. Example, not, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. every day. Instead, I'll wake up without snoozing no matter the time. Not, I'll read 50 pages daily. Instead, I'll read for 10 minutes without my phone. Small. Repeatable. Sustainable actions. That's the foundation of a real system. 2. Unclutter. Clear the noise. Discipline thrives in simplicity. You can't build focus in chaos. Every distraction, physical or mental, steals energy from what matters. Look around your workspace. Your desk, your phone, your mind. Ask, what can I remove that doesn't move me forward? Start with physical clutter. A clean space builds a calm mind. Then, remove digital clutter notifications, feeds, endless tabs, and finally, clean mental clutter, the unfinished tasks that drain you daily. When you unclutter, you create frictionless focus. You reduce the number of choices you face. You simplify your day into pure execution. Because the truth is, the more decisions you make, the weaker your discipline becomes. So design your environment to make the right choice automatic. Put your gym shoes by the door. Keep your journal open on your desk. Hide your distractions before they hide your progress. 3. Operate. Turn your plan into routine. This is where discipline becomes identity. Forget the perfect plan. Focus on the repeatable rhythm. Systems beat motivation because they don't rely on emotion. They rely on automation. Every day, at the same time, you execute the same key actions. No negotiation. No debate. No delay. That's how you turn discipline into instinct. Example, if your goal is to study 2 hours daily, don't decide when. Decide where. Decide how. And lock it in your calendar like gravity. Because when the behavior is scheduled, it becomes part of who you are. Not something you have to think about. The power of chain unbroken. Every day you follow through. You build a chain. Every day you skip. You break it. The longer your chain, the stronger your self-trust. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's the invisible repetition that nobody sees, but everyone feels when it compounds. So track it. Not for show, for awareness. Here's your simple tracker, focus time. Minutes spent on one deep task. Meaningful work. How many important things done? Consistency score. Rate your discipline from 1 to 10. At the end of each day, review the numbers. Don't judge yourself, adjust yourself. Because discipline is not perfection, it's calibration. The discipline myth. People think discipline means force. It doesn't. It means flow. It means designing your life so the right behavior becomes the easiest one. If you need willpower every day, your system is broken. True discipline feels calm, not tense, simple, not complicated, automatic, not exhausting. You shouldn't have to fight yourself to grow. You should build an environment where growth happens naturally. That's the real secret. The 2 deep blocks rule. Here's your next step. 2 deep blocks every day. 8 Block gleich 50 minutes. No phone. No notifications. No noisy. Just you. Your craft. And your focus. You can do them morning and evening before the world wakes up. And after it goes quiet again. If you do this for 7 days straight, you'll realize something powerful. You don't need motivation to change your life. You need rhythm, momentum, flow. And once that rhythm takes hold, discipline stops being effort. It becomes identity. What happens when you stop depending on motivation? When you stop waiting to feel ready, you start moving faster than everyone else. When you stop relying on emotion, you start trusting your system. When you stop chasing comfort, you start building character. That's how you outgrow your old self, not by forcing change, but by engineering it. Recap. The D. U. O. Formula in action. Define. Know your goal. Know your why. Start from the smallest repeatable habit. Unclutter. Remove distractions. Physical. Digital. Emotional. Create a friction-free environment for focus. Operate. Run the system daily. Track your consistency. Respect the rhythm more than the result. The result, when motivation dies, your system lives on. It keeps you moving even when your mind says stop. Because discipline isn't about feeling good. It's about doing good, no matter how you feel. And in that quiet consistency, you become unstoppable. No drama, no noise, no excuses, just steady progress. One silent step at a time. Change doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, gradually, one small improvement at a time. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. They chase intensity. They burn out fast. Then they quit. But masters, they understand a different rhythm, the rhythm of compounding growth. The power of tiny progress. Imagine you improve just 1% each day. 1%, it's almost nothing. But do it for 1 year, and you'll be 37 times better than when you started. That's the power of small acceleration, tiny, invisible actions that multiply quietly over time. One good decision today doesn't just make today better. It changes tomorrow's starting point. One focused hour today makes the next one easier. One page written makes the next page possible. You're not building results. You're building momentum. And momentum is the real engine of transformation. The silent rule: slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Progress feels slow at first. Painfully slow. You may feel like nothing's changing. But that's how compounding works. It hides its magic until you've earned it. At first, you see no difference. Then suddenly, everything changes at once. That's the curve of mastery, invisible, gradual, explosive. So don't rush the process. Respect it, feed it, protect it. Because every time you stay consistent, you move 1 inch closer to exponential growth. The 1% mindset: forget perfection. Aim for 1% better. Ask yourself each day, what's one small thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? It could be reading 5 pages, walking 10 minutes, cleaning your workspace, writing 1 paragraph, meditating for 2 minutes. Small acts done with intention carry more power than big acts done with ego. Because ego wants to prove, growth wants to improve. The practical formula: you don't need giant goals. You need small accelerators. Here's your framework. 1. Focus minutes. Track your total minutes of deep focus daily. Even 30 minutes counts. 2. Deep work tasks. Record how many meaningful tasks you completed. Not busy work, real work. 3. Daily score. Rate your day honestly. Did you give your best effort? Even for a short time. That's your 3-point tracker. Use it nightly. Don't chase perfect days. Chase consistent ones. The tiny accelerator loop. Every small win creates belief. Belief creates motivation. Motivation fuels another small win. And that's the loop. Not fireworks. Just quiet, steady compounding. You don't break limits by trying harder. You break them by repeating smarter. The key isn't force, it's frequency. A simple example. Let's say you're learning a new skill, maybe a language. You study 15 minutes each day. That's 1% of your day. After 1 month, you don't feel fluent, but your mind starts shifting. You start thinking differently. After 6 months, you understand sentences you couldn't before. After 1 year, people ask how you learned so fast. And you'll smile because you know the truth. You didn't learn fast. You learned consistently. The compound effect in real-life discipline compounds. Focus compounds. Even silence compounds. Every small act of restraint, every time you choose not to quit, adds to your internal strength. Like drops filling a glass. You don't notice until it overflows. But the overflow only comes after hundreds of quiet drops. That's the cost of mastery repetition in the dark. Faith without evidence. Work without applause. You keep showing up. You keep adding drops. And one day, the results spill over. Everyone else calls it sudden success. But you know better. It wasn't sudden. It was earned. The friction rule. Every time you start something new, there's friction. The brain resists. It prefers comfort over challenge. Your job is to reduce that friction until action becomes easier than avoidance. Make the first step small. Make it clear. Make it obvious. Don't plan a perfect workout. Put on your shoes. Don't design the ideal schedule. Start a 25-minute block. Don't dream about writing a book. Write one paragraph. Once you start, momentum takes care of the rest. Small starts create big shifts. Because the hardest part is never the work itself, it's the hesitation before it. The rule of compounded time. Every day you show up. You earn interest on your effort. Even when the results aren't visible, your skill is compounding underneath. You're building patience. You're strengthening your focus. You're training your mind to stay calm in the slow climb. And that's what separates temporary hustlers from timeless builders. The science of small wins. Your brain loves progress. It releases dopamine every time you complete a task. That's why tracking small wins isn't just motivational, it's neurological reinforcement. Every time you check something off, you teach your brain, this is who I am. This is what I do. And slowly, identity replaces willpower. You no longer need to try being disciplined. You simply are disciplined. The 1% promise. If you commit to being 1% better each day, you won't notice it tomorrow or next week. But one day, you'll wake up and realize you've become unrecognizable to your old self. You'll move with clarity. You'll think with precision. You'll act with peace. And when people ask how you did it, you'll simply say, I focused on 1%. Because the ones who grow slowly end up growing forever. Summary. Improvement is a curve, not a leap. Focus on 1% better every day. Track progress with the 3-point system focus minutes. Deep work tasks. Daily score. Compounding turns consistency into power. Small wins. Repeated. Build identity. So remember, you don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving. Because 1% today is the seed of unstoppable momentum tomorrow. Keep adding. Keep building. Keep growing. Quietly. Relentlessly. Silently. Silence is strength. But not everyone can recognize power when it's quiet. The moment you start working in silence, the world begins to question you. Why so quiet? Did something happen? Are you still trying? Or did you give up? They don't see your focus. They don't feel your growth. They only notice your absence. And that's when the real test begins. This is what happens when your silence is misunderstood and how to rise above it without losing your calm. Your focus. or your purpose. Notice the misunderstanding. When you stop announcing your plans, people will assume the worst. They'll mistake your peace for distance, your discipline for arrogance, your focus for failure. Because we live in a world addicted to noise, people have been trained to believe that loud equals confident and quiet equals weak. But silence isn't the absence of power. It's the control of it. When you work in silence, you stop performing for others and start performing for yourself. And that makes people uncomfortable, because your stillness reflects their chaos. Your focus exposes their distractions. Your calm reminds them how restless they are. So they talk, they judge, they misunderstand. But remember, you're not here to be understood. You're here to evolve. H-H-E-A-L. Turn judgment into fuel. Criticism can sting, especially when it comes from those you care about. But pain is information. If you can read it, you can use it. When someone doubts you, don't react. Don't rush to defend yourself. Just pause and ask, is there truth in this? Or is it just noise? If it's truth, refine yourself. If it's noise, release it. You don't fight misunderstanding with explanation. You outgrow it through execution. Never waste energy convincing small minds. Their approval doesn't build your destiny. The best response to doubt is quiet. Consiste progresse. When they gossip, you build. When they question, you sharpen. When they mock, you master. Let their noise become background static. Let your results become the music that drowns it out. Apply the art of silent response. When your silence is tested, don't break it, guide it. Here's your 3-step N. H-A-N. Response pattern 1. Notice, pause before you react. That pause is your power. 2. Heal, filter the energy. Ask, does this fuel me or drain me? Keep what strengthens you. Release what weakens you. 3. Apply, transform emotion into motion. Let your actions answer every question. Example, they say, you've gone so quiet lately. You smile and think, no, I've just started listening to what really matters. Then you return to your craft unbothered. Unschagen. Unstoppable. That's emotional intelligence in motion. N. Neutralize, evolve. Instead of explaining, every misunderstanding is a choice point. You can either defend your silence or deepen it. Defending comes from ego. Deepening comes from evolution. When you choose peace over proving, you shift from reaction to mastery. You begin to see criticism doesn't stop your path. It sharpens it. Judgment doesn't limit you. It liberates you because it reminds you that you've outgrown their level of thinking. The moment you stop needing to be understood, you become untouchable. The inner dialogue. There will be nights you'll doubt yourself. You'll think, am I isolating myself too much? Should I explain so they don't misunderstand me? No. You don't owe anyone proof of your process. Growth often looks like distance. Healing often looks like withdrawal. Discipline often looks like detachment. But what's really happening is alignment. You're not pulling away, you're pulling inward. Solitude isn't isolation. It's elevation. Silence is where transformation takes root, where you hear your own voice again, clearer than ever. So when others misunderstand your stillness, thank them silently. Because every misunderstanding is proof that you're evolving beyond recognition. The mirror test. Here's a secret. People don't always react to who you are. They react to what you mirror in them. Your focus reminds them of their procrastination. Your calm exposes their chaos. Your self-control reflects their distractions. So when people project negativity onto you, don't absorb it. Reflect it back with grace. Stay grounded. Stay quiet. Keep building. Because while they're talking about your silence, you're building the kind of success that will one day speak so loudly that the world will have no choice but to listen. The shield of stillness. You can't control what people say, but you can control what you give power to. Your calm is your armor. Your silence is your fortress. Your work is your response. Don't argue. Don't defend. Just keep executing. Because one day, you won't need to say a word. Your results will do all the talking, and your silence will sound like thunder. Recap the N. H. A C no. N. Framework. Notice. Recognize misunderstanding without reacting. Heal combat judgment into energy. Apply. Let your actions speak louder than words. Neutralize, transcend ego, and find peace in stillness. So when your silence is misunderstood, don't break it. Deepen it. Because the world mocks what it doesn't understand, and it misunderstands what it cannot match. Keep walking quietly. Keep building deeply. Let time translate what words never could. One day, they'll stop asking why you were silent and start wondering how you became so powerful without ever making a sound. The world is loud. Everyone wants your attention, your time, your mind, your energy. But if you give it away freely, you'll have nothing left for yourself. Energy is your most valuable currency, and how you spend it determines how far you'll go. The invisible leak. Not all exhaustion comes from hard work. Sometimes it comes from who you're around, what you consume, and what you allow into your mind. You could sleep 8 hours, eat well, and still wake up tired because your energy is leaking through invisible cracks. Every negative conversation, every pointless argument, every scroll through chaos online, it drains you a little more. Until one day, you're running on fumes and wondering why your motivation disappeared. Focus doesn't die in a single moment. It erodes quietly, one distraction, one draining person, one notification at a time. That's why mastering your energy isn't a luxury. It's survival. The 3 energy gates. To protect your energy, you must guard the 3 gates. 1. The mental gate, your thoughts. What you feed your mind becomes your world. If you constantly consume negativity, gossip, or fear, your focus shrinks. Replace mindless noise with intentional input. Read what expands you. Listen to what strengthens you. Think in ways that serve you. 2. The emotional gate, your circle. Every person you keep close either fuels you or drains you. Pay attention to how you feel after leaving a conversation. Do you feel lighter or heavier, energized or empty? That's your intuition, and it never lies. Protect your circle like your future depends on it, because it does. 3. The physical gate, your environment. Your space affects your state. A cluttered room invites chaos. A calm environment invites focus. Create a space that reflects the person you're becoming, not the version you've outgrown. The discipline of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They're filters. They let love in but keep chaos out. When you set a boundary, you're not being cold, you're being clear. You're saying, I choose peace over drama. I choose focus over noise. I choose growth over guilt. And yes, people will resist it. They'll test your limits. They'll try to make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. But remember this, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate, Protect your time, and you protect your mind. Protect your mind, and you protect your destiny. Energy thieves. There are 3 kinds of energy thieves, and you must learn to recognize each one. 1. The talker. They love attention more than progress. They talk endlessly about their problems, but never seek solutions. They feed on your empathy, but reject your advice. Be kind, but keep your distance. 2. The doubter. They question your every move. They'll tell you your dream is unrealistic. Not because it is, but because they stopped chasing their own. Don't internalize their fear. Their doubt is their cage, not yours. 3. The chaos magnet. They bring storms everywhere they go. Drama follows them like a shadow. If peace is your goal, they can't be your company. You don't need to hate them. You just need to stop letting them rent space in your mind. Recharge without noise. You don't need a tropical vacation to recharge. You just need stillness. Moments when your phone is away. Your thoughts slow down, and you can hear your own breath again. True rest isn't escape, it's alignment. Rest happens when your actions, thoughts, and values finally match. When you no longer chase noise for validation. When you stop explaining yourself and start being yourself. Make time to disconnect daily, even for 10 minutes. No screens, no conversations, just presence. You'll be surprised how powerful silence becomes when you stop trying to fill it. The energy audit. Every few weeks, do an energy audit. Write down 3 columns. 1. People who give me energy. 2. People who drain me. 3. Habits that shift me. Then ask, what can I spend more time on? What can I let go of without guilt? Because letting go isn't loss. It's liberation. When you stop fighting for what drains you, you start attracting what sustains you. Your energy is sacred. Your energy is your life force. Your focus is your compass. Your peace is your foundation. Guard them fiercely. The world will always try to distract you with noise, with urgency, with comparison. But those who master silence don't fight for attention. They channel it inward. Every hour you waste on noise is an hour stolen from your potential. So choose wisely. Protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. Summary. Energy leaks are invisible. Find them and seal them. Guard your 3 gates: mind, emotions, and environment. Boundaries are acts of clarity, not cruelty. Avoid energy thieves, talkers, dupers, and chaos magnets. Recharge through silence and solitude. Conduct regular energy audits to realign your focus. You are not obligated to be available to everyone. You are obligated to protect your peace. Because the moment you start guarding your energy, your mind clears, your focus sharpens, and your life begins to accelerate quietly, powerfully, and intentionally. Remember this: energy flows where attention goes. Direct it inward, and the world will start reflecting your strength outward. Discipline is heavy at first. You have to think, to push, to fight against the pull of comfort. But mastery, true mastery, begins when effort turns into instinct, when doing what's right feels as natural as breathing. This chapter is about that transformation, how to shift from forcing discipline to living it effortlessly, how to turn conscious effort into unconscious excellence, from willpower to system power. Most people wait for motivation. They wait for the right mood, the right timing, the right feeling, but motivation is unreliable. It fades. It flickers, and it fails when you need it most. High performers don't depend on motivation, they depend on systems. A system doesn't care how you feel. It simply runs automatically, predictably, consistently. Discipline isn't about working harder. It's about designing your life so success becomes the default outcome. You don't need more willpower, you need better architecture. Step 1. The if-then framework. Your brain loves patterns. If you give it a clear rule, it will follow. That's the if-then rule, a simple psychological trigger that turns decisions into reflexes. If it's löshandling A, M, then I write for 25 minutes. If I finish lunch, then I walk for 10 minutes. If I sit at my desk, then I silence my phone. You're not relying on emotion, you're programming behavior. Each if-then link rewires your brain's autopilot. Soon, you don't have to think about doing the work. You just do it. That's not discipline anymore. That's identity. Step 2. Temptation bundling, making discipline rewarding. Let's be honest, your brain doesn't crave productivity. It craves pleasure. That's why bad habits stick. They feel good instantly. So, instead of fighting biology, you hijack it. It's called temptation bundling. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. Only listen to your favorite playlist while cleaning. Only drink your morning coffee while reading. Only watch your favorite show while on the treadmill. Now, disciplina feels like indulgence. You're teaching your brain that good habits are pleasurable, not painful. That's how you make consistency addictive. Step 3. The simple cue system. Habits don't stick because they're hard. They fail because they're invisible. Your brain forgets. So you make your habits unmissable. That's the simple cue system. Create visible reminders that pull you toward the right behavior. Keep your book on your pillow. Place your running shoes by the door. Keep a full water bottle on your desk. Leave your journal open on your nightstand. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. So make your environment a silent coach. Let your surroundings whisper your priorities back to you. Step 4. Stack. Repeat. And evolve. The secret to mastery isn't massive action, it's habit stacking. You attach new actions to old ones, turning ordinary moments into cues for greatness. If I brush my teeth, then I'll write one sentence in my journal. If I make my coffee, then I'll plan my top 3 goals for the day. One action flows naturally into the next. Repetition turns friction into rhythm. Rhythm turns effort into instinct. You don't have to push anymore. Momentum pulls you forward. A quiet example. Imagine a person who wakes up every morning, puts on their shoes, walks outside for 10 minutes, then writes one sentence before starting the day. Nothing dramatic. No applause. No dopamine rush. But after 30 days, their brain associates sunrise with progress. After 90 days, that routine is no longer a choice. It's a part of who they are. That's the quiet revolution of automation. You're not chasing motivation anymore. You are motivation. Step 5. The 3 filters useful. Light. Simple. Before adding anything new, run it through the 3-filter rule. 1. Useful. Does this action genuinely move me forward? If not, remove it. 2. Light. Does it feel aligned? Or does it drain me? Good habits challenge you, but they shouldn't feel like punishment. 3. Simple. Can I make this easier? Because if it's too complicated, you won't repeat it. Simplicity isn't laziness, it's precision. The easier your process, the longer it lasts. Momentum over motivation. Every time you repeat a habit, you reinforce your identity. Show up once, it's an effort. Show up twice, it's a pattern. Show up 100 times, it's who you are. Consistency beats intensity. Small steps done daily will always outrun massive bursts done rarely. Momentum isn't built in leaps, it's built in quiet repetitions. And once momentum starts rolling, discipline becomes peace. Summary systems are stronger than motivation. Use if, then triggers to create automatic behavior. Pair pleasure with discipline through temptation bundling. Design your environment to cue your desired actions. Stack small habits to create big change. Filter everything through useful, light, and simple. You don't need to force yourself to become great. You just need to build the system that makes greatness inevitable. Because when your life runs on well-designed patterns, you stop battling resistance and start flowing with rhythm. That's when progress becomes peace. That's when excellence becomes effortless. That's when you become unstoppable. Silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of clarity. In a world that never stops talking, silence is the ultimate act of strength. When you remove the noise, you start to hear the truth again, the quiet voice that's always been waiting beneath the chaos. This is your blueprint, 7 days of calm alignment. A gentle reset for your mind, body, and focus. Each day builds upon the last, creating a rhythm of stillness that sharpens your purpose and reconnects you with the deeper part of yourself. Day 1, reset. Reclaim the morning. Every transformation begins with the first hour of your day. Most people start their mornings in reaction, checking messages, chasing updates, drowning in notifications. But what if your day began in stillness instead? For one morning, do this. Before you touch your phone, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Breathe slowly. Let your mind wake up without external noise. Notice how your thoughts move like clouds passing across a calm sky. No judgment, no rush. In that silence, something subtle shifts. You stop reacting and start directing. Your day no longer controls you. You control your day. Day 2, clarity, simplify. Your space, your environment is a mirror of your mind. When your space is cluttered, your thoughts become tangled. When your surroundings breathe, your mind follows. Today, choose one small space to clear your desk, your digital files, your workspace. Remove anything that doesn't serve your focus. Each object you clear is a distraction you reclaim energy from. As you clean, breathe deliberately. This isn't just organization, it's purification. By the time you're done, you'll feel lighter, sharper, and strangely peaceful, because clarity outside creates clarity inside. Day 3, focus one task. One mind busyness is not productivity. Multitasking is not mastery. On day 3, commit to single tasking. Choose one important task and give it your full, undivided attention. Set a timer for 45 minutes. Silence your phone. Close every tab. Do just one thing and do it completely. When your attention wanders, bring it back gently, without judgment. You'll be amazed how deep your mind can go when it's not split in 1,000 directions. This is focus, not forced, but fluid. Pure concentration feels like meditation in motion. Day 4, reflection, evening stillness. Growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from noticing more. Tonight, before bed, write for 10 minutes. Not to impress, not to plan, just to observe. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? What drained me? What fueled me? Silence your environment. No music. No distractions. Let your thoughts settle on the page. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. It transforms scattered days into a cohesive journey. Your journal becomes a mirror showing you not just what you've done, but who you're becoming. Day 5. Boundaries guard the energy. Now that you've tasted focus and stillness, it's time to protect it. Today, set one clear boundary for yourself. Maybe it's no phone during meals, no responding to messages after 9 p.m., no explaining myself to people who drain me. Boundaries are the architecture of peace. They teach the world how to treat you and teach you how to honor your own time. At first, you'll feel resistance, guilt, fear of missing out. But on the other side of that discomfort lies freedom, because saying no to noise is saying yes to yourself. Day 6. Presence practice. Deep listening. Silence isn't only about being quiet. It's about being present. Today, listen deeply, intentionally. When someone speaks, don't plan your response. Don't fill the pauses. Just listen fully. Observe their tone, their eyes, their breath. Notice the space between words. The world rushes to speak, but real connection happens in the space of listening. When you learn to listen deeply, you stop hearing just others. You start hearing life itself. You'll find that silence isn't empty. It's full of everything you've been missing. Day 7. Integration. The art of quiet strength. This is where silence becomes identity. You've slowed down. You've simplified. You've reclaimed control of your energy. Now it's time to live from that state, not as an exercise, but as a way of being. On day 7, move through your routine quietly. No rush, no noise, just awareness. Notice your breath as you work. Notice the texture of your thoughts. Notice the calm underneath the surface. This is not about withdrawing from the world. It's about mastering your internal world, so the outer one no longer dictates your peace. When you live aligned, your decisions are cleaner, your reactions slower, your results faster. Silence becomes your superpower. The 7-day blueprint in review. Day 1. Reclaim your morning with 5 minutes of silence. Day 2. Simplify your environment. 1 clear space. 1 clear mind. Day 3. Focus deeply on 1 meaningful task. Day 4. Reflect. Every night, turn thought into awareness. Day 5. Set 1 strong boundary to protect your energy. Day 6. Listen deeply. Silence is connection. Day 7. Integrate. Move through life with calm awareness. Silence as a strategy. Silence doesn't mean hiding. It means choosing your battles. It means knowing when to speak and when to let your results speak for you. In silence, your intuition sharpens. You begin to see patterns others miss. You hear ideas before they form words. You act with clarity instead of impulse. That's not emptiness, that's alignment. When you align with silence, your energy stops leaking outward. It flows in 1 steady direction forward. And that's how quiet people build extraordinary lives. The promise of quiet mastery. After 7 days of intentional silence, you'll notice something profound. You're calmer, but also sharper. You move slower, but get more done. You speak less, but every word carries weight. Because silence doesn't weaken your presence, it amplifies it. And as you continue this practice, you'll realize silence isn't something you do. It's something you become. It's a posture, a discipline. a language of power that needs no words. In that silence, you'll find not emptiness, but everything you've been searching for. Silent success is not just about calm. It's about control. And control begins with clarity, the ability to see what truly moves the needle and what only makes noise. You can't improve what you don't measure. You can't master what you don't understand. This is the foundation of sustainable greatness. M-E-T. Awed. Measure. Eliminate. Test. Amplify. It's how quiet achievers turn invisible effort into visible excellence. It's how you make silence strategic. Step 1. Measure, see reality clearly. The first step to mastery is measurement, not judgment. Not comparison, but awareness. Every day, your energy, focus, and time are flowing somewhere. Most people don't know where. They just move fast, reactive, distracted. But the calm achiever measures. They track what truly matters. How did I spend my time today? What gave me energy and what drained it? Which actions created real progress and which just looked productive? Write it down. Not with perfection, but with honesty. Clarity starts when emotion ends. When you see your life as data, patterns emerge and truth becomes undeniable. Measurement is not about control, it's about consciousness. It gives you feedback, and feedback is the raw material of greatness. Because what you can measure, you can master. Step 2. Eliminate, cut the noise. Once you see clearly, you'll realize something powerful. Most of what you do doesn't matter. Not because it's bad, but because it doesn't move the core needle. Distraction often disguises itself as importance. We cling to busy work because it feels like progress, but it's only motion without momentum. Here's a rule. If an action doesn't create measurable value, it doesn't belong in your day. Start cutting ruthlessly. Cut meetings without purpose. Cut digital noise. Cut the shoulds that drain your spark. What's left after elimination isn't less, it's pure. Focus is subtraction. The fewer directions your energy is scattered, the faster you rise. Every no you say is an investment in the right yes. Minimalism in action creates maximum impact. Step 3. Test, turn effort into experiment. Once you've cleared the clutter, you enter the realm of experimentation, the art of testing what works. Silent success is not random. It's built like a scientist through iteration. When you test, you remove ego from progress. You stop saying, "I hope this works," and start saying, "Let's see what happens." That shift is liberation. Testing means asking, what if I worked earlier? What if I doubled my focus blocks but halved my meetings? What if I trained differently, rested differently, or simplified my approach? Every test reveals a truth. Every small adjustment compounds into mastery. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to test intelligently, track the results, and refine. Iteration creates evolution. You can't lose when you keep learning. Step 4. Amplify, do more of what works. Now comes the secret of exponential growth amplification. The world's most successful people aren't doing everything right. They're doing the right things repeatedly. They find the 20% that produces 80% of results, and then they double down on it. That's the power of amplification. Look back at what you've measured and tested. What patterns do you see? What actions bring the most progress? Clarity or joy. Those are your leverage points, your multipliers. Now, multiply them. If writing for 30 minutes daily fuels your creativity, write for 60. If exercise clears your mind, make it non-negotiable. If deep work drives results, schedule more of it. Amplify momentum until it becomes mastery. Because what's repeated with focus compounds into power. The M-E-T-A cycle in motion. When these 4 steps align, you enter a state of quiet acceleration. You measure to see clearly. You eliminate to move cleanly. You test to learn quickly. You amplify to rise powerfully. The cycle repeats endlessly, effortlessly. It's not about perfection, it's about feedback. It's not about speed, it's about precision. Every week, every month, every iteration you get sharper. Your process evolves. Your results start echoing louder than your words ever could. This is silent success in its purest form, disciplined, data-driven, and deeply personal. How to apply the M-E-T-A system practically 1. Weekly reflection every Sunday. Review your week. List what worked, what didn't, and why. 2. Daily metrics track. 3 key numbers: time spent in focus, energy level, and quality of work. Simple, but revealing. 3. The rule of 3. Each month, pick only 3 goals. No more. Anything beyond that dilutes your impact. 4. The elimination audit once a week. Ask, what can I stop doing that no longer serves me? You'll be surprised how much energy that frees. 5. Amplify the winners. Double your effort where the data proves progress. That's how small wins turn into compounding momentum. The quiet achiever doesn't chase more, they refine. They evolve through rhythm, not rush. The echo principle. Every action you take sends out an echo, a ripple that shapes who you become. Most people never hear it because they're too busy making noise. But those who live in silence listen closely. They notice the pattern. They adjust, refine, and rise. Your results are the echo of your habits. Your habits are the echo of your systems. And your systems are the echo of your mindset. When your inner world is ordered, your outer world amplifies. This is why silent success isn't passive. It's powerful because it channels effort into precision, and precision into unstoppable force. Silence as performance. Imagine a musician who practices every day alone. Unseen. No audience. No applause. Each note refined. Each mistake corrected. Each repetition logged. Months later, when they perform, people call it talent, but what they're hearing is the echo of 1,000 silent hours. Your work is the same. Your results are your music. The world will hear it eventually, but the masterpiece is made in the quiet. Summary. The M-I-T-A framework. Measure, track what truly matters. Eliminate, cut what doesn't move the needle. Test, treat your growth like a series of experiments. Amplify, double down on what works best. Repeat, refine, and let your results speak. Because the most powerful noise in the world is the echo of undeniable results born from the silence of relentless, intelligent work. At some point, your silence stops being a strategy and becomes your signature. You no longer chase success, you embody it. You no longer shout your worth, you radiate it. This is the legacy of stillness, the phase where quiet growth turns into influence that echoes far beyond your own life. Because true success isn't just about achievement. It's about alignment, living so fully in your truth that your presence alone becomes an example. From the inside out, the world teaches us to build from the outside in, to collect, display, and perform. But the greatest lives are built in reverse. They begin quietly, inwardly in the space where no one's watching. When you strengthen your inner world first, the outer world bends to match it. Every quiet hour of discipline becomes a brick in the invisible foundation of your future. Every moment you resisted distraction sharpened your character in ways others can't see but can feel. You begin to notice that your silence carries power. People sense it, that steady calm, that unspoken confidence that says, "I don't need to prove anything. I've already earned it." And in that moment, you realize the person who was once searching for validation has become the person others now look up to for guidance. Your work becomes your voice. When you live this way, you don't have to promote yourself. Your work does it for you. The quality of your effort, the integrity behind your actions, the calm in your decision-making all speak louder than any announcement ever could. You no longer tell the world who you are. You show them, and your consistency makes your reputation undeniable. True influence is silent. It doesn't demand attention, it commands it through presence and authenticity. It's in the quiet leadership of someone who leads by example, not by volume. It's in the calm teacher whose wisdom reshapes lives. It's in the steady builder who creates something timeless, not trendy. The legacy of stillness is not about being remembered loudly. It's about being remembered deeply. Impact without noise. Look at the people who've truly changed the world. Inventors, thinkers, creators, reformers. Their breakthroughs didn't come from attention, they came from obsession, from years of quiet refinement, unseen by the public eye. Einstein's theory, Da Vinci's sketches, Beethoven's compositions, all born in solitude. They weren't chasing applause, they were chasing truth. And when they finally emerged, the world couldn't ignore what they had built. That's the paradox of silent impact. When you stop trying to be seen, you end up shining brighter. Because real light doesn't announce itself, it simply illuminates. The expansion phase. Once you've built inner mastery, a natural shift begins. Your focus expands from self-development to value creation. You no longer ask, "How can I win?" You start asking, "How can I contribute?" This shift marks the beginning of legacy. You start mentoring others, not to be admired, but to multiply what you've learned. You share knowledge, not to seek followers, but to create builders. You make decisions not just for your gain, but for the long-term harmony of the system you're part of. Quiet growth turns into quiet impact. You begin to create ripples through your words, your work, your way of being, and those ripples turn into waves. Freedom from applause. There is a kind of freedom that only silence can give. When you no longer depend on praise, you also become immune to criticism. You stop playing small to fit the expectations of others. You stop performing. You simply exist truthfully. And that truth, over time, becomes magnetic. You attract opportunities that align with your energy. You attract people who value authenticity over image. You attract peace because you live in it. In this stage, success is not something to chase. It's something you carry. It's the calm that walks into a room before you do. The certainty that doesn't need defending. The legacy that builds itself quietly. Through the way you move, the way you work, the way you think. The power of example. Every person who chooses the path of silent success becomes a signal to the world. You prove that discipline still matters in an age of shortcuts. That patience still wins in a culture of speed. That depth still matters in a time obsessed with visibility. You become a living contradiction, the quiet storm that moves mountains without ever making a sound. And that example changes others more powerfully than any speech ever could. Because people may doubt your words, but they can't deny your results. Legacy beyond recognition. Legacy is not about being remembered. It's about leaving something that continues even when no one remembers your name. It's in the systems you build, the people you've mentored, the standards you've set, the peace you've modeled. Your silence becomes a blueprint for others, a reminder that real power doesn't roar. It hums, steady, consistent, unbreakable. The paradox of the quiet achiever is that the less they seek attention, the more lasting their influence becomes. Because trends fade, but truth endure. Stillness as a way of life. In the end, stillness is not a tactic. It's a philosophy, a way of moving through the world with grace, focus, and integrity. It's knowing that loud effort creates fast results. But quiet consistency creates eternal ones. It's living so intentionally that every decision, every action feels aligned, deliberate, not disparity. Stillness is not withdrawal. It's control. It's how you hold your center while the world spins around you. And when you master it, you don't just succeed, you transcend. You move from ambition to purpose, from performance to presence, from noise to legacy. The final truth. You were never meant to chase validation. You were meant to build conviction. You were never meant to be heard by everyone. You were meant to impact the right ones. And you were never meant to shout to be seen. You were meant to move quietly until your results became too powerful to ignore. That is the essence of silent success, not the absence of sound, but the presence of power. So stay calm, stay focused, and keep working in silence. In truth, in mastery, because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people whose actions speak louder than their words ever could. Take a breath. You've reached the end of this journey, but the truth is, your real journey begins now. Because silent success isn't a story you listen to. It's a story you live. Every insight, every principle, every quiet decision is an invitation to rise above noise, to build a life that speaks for itself. You've seen what happens when you turn inward, when you choose focus over distraction, discipline over comfort, consistency over applause. You've learned that silence isn't emptiness, it's energy. That stillness isn't weakness, it's strength under control. And maybe, as you listened, you felt something awaken, a small but powerful shift, a recognition that you no longer need permission to succeed. You only need commitment. Because your dreams don't need an audience. They need action. They need your quiet persistence, your willingness to show up, even when no one notices, even when no one believes. That's how legends are built. The real secret. The secret isn't to move fast. It's to move intentionally, to build quietly, one layer at a time, until one day the world turns and says, "Where did you come from?" And you'll smile, because you know you were there all along, working in silence. No noise, no validation, just growth. That's the paradox of greatness. The quieter your process, the louder your results. So keep building, keep refining, keep showing up when no one else does. Because the people who learn to be calm under pressure, focused in distraction, and patient in progress, They are the ones who win in the long run. From listener to doer, don't let this be just another story you finish. Let it be the beginning of a transformation. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one question. What can I do tomorrow that brings me closer to the person I quietly know I'm meant to be? Then do that. No announcements, no noise, just movement. Because success doesn't arrive with applause. It arrives quietly like dawn after a long night. The light doesn't shout when it rises. It simply appears, and suddenly, everything changes. That's your future waiting beyond this moment. For those who walk the quiet path. If this message resonated with you, if you felt peace, clarity, or power awaken within you, then you are part of a rare kind of person. You're not chasing the spotlight. You're building something real. You're doing the work when no one claps. You're becoming someone who doesn't just dream, but executes. And if that's you, then keep walking this path with us. Here, in this space, we celebrate the power of inner calm, the discipline of growth, and the freedom that comes from working in silence. Your next step, if you found value in this audiobook, make sure to subscribe to Sleep Success Audiobook for more transformative journeys like this one. Each week, we bring you powerful, cinematic lessons to help you master focus, emotional control, and calm achievement so you can rise quietly and succeed on your own terms. And if this message spoke to you, like, share, and leave a comment below. Tell us, what's one area of your life where you're ready to stop talking and start executing? Your words might be the spark that inspires someone else to take the same step. Because change always starts with one quiet decision. The final word. In a world obsessed with noise, you chose stillness. In a time addicted to attention, you chose attention. And in doing so, you've already set yourself apart. The path ahead won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Stay calm. Stay disciplined. Stay quietly unstoppable. And remember, you don't need to shout your dreams. Just live them so loudly that silence itself begins to echo your name.